Well, hello there and welcome. Good to have you tuned in as we get set to roll another episode of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. It is your show. And we just want to thank you so much for what you do each and every day on this program, making them an impactful show. And we learn so much, and hopefully you learn a lot. And as Debbie says, we grow closer to God. And there's something else in that, isn't there? We learn a little bit and grow closer to God.
Yeah, we learn something new and grow and hopefully grow closer to God. May I just say this? I said this before we started the show. I love my dentist. I just love him. I had an early morning dentist appointment, and he's just phenomenal. And the dental hygienist and the staff, I just feel so blessed. You know, when you have real professionals caring about their patients and working to make people feel better about themselves and their health and things like that. And they do it in such a kind, loving way. It's everything. I tell you, and in this day and age, Jerry, where we have a lot of people going out there and we're kind of disconnected and we're not really, making that soul to soul connection. It's nice to have a great experience, especially when you go to the dentist. I'm going to give him a good review today. I just decided.
Good, do that. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like my dentist too. He's really laid back, but he knows what he's doing. I'm very, very pleased with him. So
it's awesome. It's awesome. So thank you to everybody in the medical profession, and you do such a great job, and we just love you. But that's not the topic today. That was just on my that was just on my mind because I just got back from a dentist appointment.
Oh, look, calls are coming in.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we're changing topics. No, but the question is for the Take Two family. Are you ready? Come on, start dialing because Matt Gabinski wants to hear from you. Here's the question. Get ready. What's your favorite religious order and why? Favorite religious order and why? Jerry put this on the calendar. I think it's a great topic. I have some things to say. I know Jerry does as well because he worked with the ministry that he founded, Vocation Boom, for 10 years, folks. 10 solid years. So you met a lot of religious orders, Jerry. And plus, you were the host of Catholic Answers for many, many years. So you probably came across a ton of religious orders.
Well, plus 6 years in formation for the priesthood and doing a lot of discerning and wondering if it was an archdiocese or a diocese or religious order. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a wonderful and inspiring, uplifting conversation. Here's the number, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. You may belong to a parish that is staffed by Dominicans or Jesuits or Franciscans or Redemptorists, and those are just to name a few. Maybe you have, maybe you are third order, of one of those orders.
Carmelite.
Maybe you have somebody in your family who's a priest or a religious. So what is the favorite order of yours? Holy Cross, maybe? 833-288-3986.
Let's weigh in on this and talk about the charisms that are associated with these orders, the kind of, founding vision of these orders and what they stand for and what they want to try to do in this world and how maybe they're teachers, maybe they are, missionaries, maybe they're trying to really promote a certain devotion. Okay, let's talk about it and how it has impacted you. Maybe they run the hospitals, right? And so Sisters of Mercy, things like that, all sorts of ideas. The reason why we're focusing on religious orders is because it's important for us to understand them better, maybe to help them. Maybe we can serve on some level, in some capacity, or we can just pray for these religious orders. Some are in trouble. Let's face it. Some have had things happen. Their founder or something has happened, and we need to pray that because good people are in religious orders. So let's talk about it. What's your favorite religious order and why? Were you taught by the Dominicans like I was? Okay, how about the Dominicans? Great preachers and teachers. Here is the number. Matt Gabinski's waiting. Please fill up the phone lines. Pick up every single line. Ready? Go. 833-288-3986.
Okay. Yeah, whatever association you have or have had with a Catholic religious order, these are men and women who a lot of them become brothers or sisters. The women become sisters, of course. But in the men's orders, like Benedictines, for example, you have some who enter and remain as brothers their whole lives. Some go on to be priests. And, thought of this topic, like you said, Debbie. We need to shine a light on our religious men and women. And I went to Mass this morning. I was telling you and our producer Ace off the air this morning that the first prayer of the faithful today, when we're doing this show, the first intention, the prayer of the faithful, was for religious men and women. And I just cracked a smile and I said, God, you are so good. You know, he's kind of affirming what we're doing here at Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. So get on the phone while there's still a line available, 833-288-3986. We're wanting to know if you have an affinity for any one particular men's or women's religious order, maybe more than one if you want. 833-288-3986.
I love the Dominicans. Like I said, I was trained elementary school, going to Catholic school, and I love that. And still, my aunt is a Dominican sister, Sister Carmel Lavolsi, and she's in her 90s, and she's still going strong, and she still teaches and preaches, and I love that. But my graduate degree was in with the Jesuits in a Jesuit university, so I've got that feel for that too, you know. But I will tell you, I love the Marian Fathers of the Immaculate Conception. I love, love, love the whole entire devotion. I love the order. I love the priests that are in the order. Why? Because it's when they speak, when they preach, when they give their homilies and their teachings, it just speaks deep into my soul. Divine mercy all the way. That's me. That's where I'm at in my spiritual life. What about you, Jerry?
Well, I have had probably the closest association with Dominicans. I've known many of them over the years and was actually very seriously discerning becoming a Dominican some years ago. But also the Redemptorists, because that was my uncle's religious order. He was a missionary in Thailand for 50 years. And so I have a very place in my heart for the Redemptorists as well as Dominicans, but every religious order does such great work. So I know we're going to have a good discussion today, Deb, with our listeners who share with us what their favorite men's or women's religious orders are.
Okay, I'm just in a humorous mood this week. I don't know why. I just feel like it, but I could hear Duke in the background. So if Duke gives his confirmation bark like he just did, I feel like it is going to be a great show, Jerry.
I think so too. Well, one line remains open if you would like to be on the program. The first group of callers, 833-288-3986. It's your show, Take Two, with Jerry and Debbie and you.
In these challenging days, faith continues to remain a bedrock for many Americans as we look towards this year's midterm elections that will shape the future of our country. EWTN News and Real Clear Opinion Research are partnering together once again to survey American Catholics on key issues and questions such as, is the nation on the right track? Causes of inflation, confidence in the current administration, religious freedom, abortion, and their adherence to church teachings. And the results are now in. Visit EWTNnews.com/poll for the latest data analysis of the most recent survey. EWTNnews.com/poll, brought to you by Real Clear Opinion Research and EWTN News.
As a kid, summer reading became the norm for some. Maybe you were that kid that moaned and complained with every book, but realized the benefit not just in the adventure of what you read, but the community with others who read it with you. That's the same experience you will have when you join the Inspired by Faith Book Club. You'll see each month's selection for the summer and be able to read it all summer long. You can simply join for free today when you click on the book club tab at standtalltoday.com. That's standtalltoday.com.
All right, thanks for tuning in today. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. Looks like a lot of you have something you want to share on today's program, which is not a surprise. The phone number is 833-288-3986. Talking about religious orders of today. of them, and if you are especially indebted to one particular order or the other, maybe you've got a relative who's a priest or a religious, maybe you are a priest or a religious or a brother in an order. We would love to have you call us. So please do join us. We're going to go to Thomas first in Texas right after I tell you about EWTN Radio Essentials. This got started, folks, right at the outset of the pandemic so that you are covered spiritually with broadcasts of the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, for example. That's every 2 hours, plus rosaries, chaplets of Divine Mercy, Stations of the Cross, and other devotionals every hour. And, you can hear EWTN Radio Essentials on the EWTN app, which you should have on your phone, and also at EWTN.com.
Okay, what just happened? Somebody dropped from one of the lines. So there's an open phone line. Jump on it quickly. Take two, family. Let's go. 833-288-3986. That's the number. Matt's waiting to pick up the call. But as promised, we'll go to Thomas first in Texas on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hello, Thomas. Tell us your favorite order.
Howdy, y'all. How you doing?
Doing well.
My favorite order is great to hear. The Schönstatt Fathers out of Germany is a German Marian movement. It started out of Germany, and they've since had a lot of missions. And so through college, I really connected with one of the Chilean missions that was over in Austin, Texas, and they started a movement there, and really just something that really helped me, come to connect with the faith in a much more personal way, and I'm just forever indebted to them.
Well, that's fantastic. Maybe you can elaborate just for a minute or so on that. What would you say is their main area of work? And if I'm not mistaken, they're under the headship of the Pope in Rome. Is that right?
I believe so. I'm not quite certain.
Yeah.
But I guess essentially to kind of clarify, they started in Germany, and then they just kind of took off like wildfire, especially in South America. So there's plenty of Schönstatt Marian shrines all over the world, and there's over 200 in the entire world. And there's actually one in Austin, Texas, and plenty all over the U.S. as well.
Wow, fantastic. Say their name again, Thomas. Schönstatt?
That's right. It's the German word for beautiful place, and it's Schönstatt.
Schönstatt. Beautiful.
And so they're dedicated to Our Lady as well, correct?
That's correct. It's a strong Marian movement, and so if you've ever recognized, it's an Italian painting of the Blessed Mother and baby Jesus that they've kind of taken as the movement-wide image, and it's a really, really special, beautiful image. And also, if you've ever seen the cross that the Missionaries of Charity have as their cross, we call it the Unity Cross. And so that symbol that was taken by Mother Teresa was originally a Schönstatt cross developed by Schönstatt families.
Beautiful. Well, we're not keeping a scorecard, Thomas, but if we were, that would be one vote for the Schönstatt Fathers.
Yes.
And more to come. Yeah. Thanks, Thomas, for the call. Yeah, great to hear from you.
Yes, thank you, Thomas. And we're putting all the orders that you share with us today on Take Two. We're putting them in the book because we want to pray for the religious orders as well, in general and specifically. It's interesting, Jerry, you and I both said beautiful at the same time. I think we were very impressed with that, with the cross and the image of Our Lady. And wow, that was wonderful. Thomas, thank you so very, very much.
Okay. Next up is Martha, listening on The Rock in Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Martha. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you so much. This is going to be a great day.
Oh, praise God.
I had an aunt who was a poor Clare nun. She was in Slovenia, and I never met her. My mother barely knew her because she was the oldest of a large family. So my mom was 4 years old when her oldest sister went away to the Poor Clares. So she barely knew her. I was like in 6th or 7th grade when I just decided I needed to start writing to her. My mom would write to her, but they were only allowed to get 2 letters per year. I decided I was going to be one of the letters that she was going to get. So I started writing to her. But the thing is, when I got, to just write to her things that were happening, thoughts, and okay. But when I got older, especially after I got married, I had so many questions, so many concerns. She was so spot on in guiding me. I often wonder, I know it was the Holy Spirit working through her to me. She was not of the world. They were in a cloistered convent, very much so. But she was so wise. Anything I would ask her, and I'll exaggerate it by saying if even like things from birth control to gun regulation. I mean, anything. She had such wisdom, such wisdom.
Wow.
There's a continuation to the story, and I was still one of the ones that she could get a letter from. They still had that regulation, only 2 letters per year. So I mean, well, I could argue that, but after she died, probably about 6 months later, the nuns at the convent decided that they also had realized that she was some special woman. They're currently trying to have her beatified. So the nuns there contacted anybody here in the United States that has any letters, any artifact, anything at all possible to send to them that they could use in the process of beatification and, et cetera, et cetera. But for me, it was the fact that she just knew my heart. And she could read my mind almost. It was crazy. So I truly appreciate, I think that these poor Clare nuns do have a very special gift given to them by God, insight and wisdom. And it doesn't matter that they're not living out in the world or
Right.
getting newspapers or it doesn't matter. They have something much better. And I was privileged to be a recipient of that. And I miss her. I miss her dearly.
Well, I'll bet you do, Martha. And I'll tell you something about the not only the poor Clare nuns, but so many religious orders of sisters. All throughout my ministry life, which has been several decades now, I have always had women's religious orders praying for me. I would specifically ask them, please lift me and my ministry up in prayer. They're brides of Christ. And as you alluded to, this group that your aunt was in, they were cloistered. They were not out in the world. They can only go out if they have like a doctor's appointment or something like that. And so, and I have a very dear friend, Sister Rose Caritas in Fort Wayne, Indiana, who went in to join a cloistered Poor Clare convent. She was about the age of 65 when she went in, and she's made final vows now. And she's my pen pal, Debbie, in Fort Wayne there. And you talk about, Martha was mentioning the wisdom that what they have. I mean, her letter is just profound. I'm thinking, wow, she's like reading my soul from 2,500 miles away.
Yeah, the depth of these holy women are amazing. I totally agree with you, Jerry and Martha. I love the Poor Clares. We have the Poor Clares here in Arizona. We have a monastery here, and they are so amazing. And here's the thing that they have, in addition to their depth, their spiritual depth of a very rich prayer life and an understanding, a deep mystical understanding of the faith. They have the most infectious, joy-filled spirit. Would you agree with that, Martha?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can't agree more. And her name, could I please tell you her name? Because
Please,
it
Sure.
yes.
resonates. Sister Immaculata.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But I was allowed to call her. I could call her Tata Mitska, which was like a real pet name. I was the only one that could do that. I always thought, woohoo, something special about me. I can call her by a pet name. She loved it.
Beautiful.
Never.
Do you know what? You know what though, Martha? Before you go, and Jerry mentioned it with Jerry having such a close bond with the religious sisters. Sometimes I think the religious sisters get lost in the mix of things. They're overlooked. They work round the clock, to serve the spiritual needs of the community in whatever fashion their order, dictates. And I will tell you, they're so beautiful, and I think we need to highlight them often. I just do, because I think they carry so much of the heart of the faith. That's just my personal opinion. Any final thoughts, Martha?
I just have to agree with you. You said they have all the spiritual work. This particular order, this Poor Clare convent, was moved twice from Serbia to Slovenia, and they built with their own hands their convent. Mortar, brick and mortar. Because there was all this communist stuff going on at the time. That's political, but they also worked very hard, with blocks and bricks and mortars and everything. And they have their gardens, so they work hard, but it doesn't matter because it's the spiritual work that they just, I don't know, I just miss her.
Yeah. Well, and all of that work you were talking about, Martha, I'm sure that was offered up spiritually as a prayer to the Lord as well. So thank you so much for listening and for calling in Cleveland. We appreciate that. And our affiliates like The Rock and Guadalupe Radio Network and so many others, wherever you happen to listen, thank you, affiliates, for carrying Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so we've got a lot of people sending in their favorite orders. I'm marking everybody down. We had some comments come in saying, are you putting everybody in the book? Yes, 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 and yes. And Ace McKay is watching as well, our producer, and we're trying to gather as many prayer intentions for these orders in the prayer book, Jerry. Just wanted to let all of the Take Two family know that.
Great. That line that Martha was on is now available. If you'd like to join the conversation, it's 833-288-3986. If you have a special place in your heart for a men's or women's religious order or more than one, we would love to hear from you on the program today. So if you're on the line right now, we're going to get to all of you. Please be patient. Debbie is next in Louisiana, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hello, Debbie.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's my Friday.
Good.
The Maronite nuns taught us at Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Oblates, Louisiana, and we loved them. And I wanted to let y'all know that a few months ago, 5 months ago, one from New Orleans was kidnapped in West Africa. Mm-hmm. And there was a big bounty on her head, but they found her this week safe.
Oh, wow. Wow,
I
praise
just
God.
have to share that God is so good. Mm-hmm. And she taught at our school.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Praise God. And is she in good condition, Debbie? Is everything okay? Is she emotionally okay?
She is. She is. She's doing wonderful. So,
wow.
Yeah, we had the nuns all through school. I'm sorry the younger ones don't have them.
Yeah, it's a real loss for our young kids not to have that example of religious life. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I will tell you, it's interesting, Debbie, that you say that, because in the past couple years, our former bishop, retired bishop now, Bishop Olmsted, we have Bishop Dolan now, which we are very excited about. But Bishop Olmsted wanted to bring religious orders back, the sisters back to the diocese. And so many religious orders came to the diocese to kind of interview, if you will, and they were placed in various parishes and schools. And we are seeing those same parishes really and truly thrive in the school and in the ministry level. It is beautiful to watch, and the kids and the parishioners have embraced these sisters that have come from all across really the world. And that's amazing. So I just want to say, Debbie, there is hope, and it is beautiful to see it again.
I know it's a blessing we had, but I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share that wonderful information with y'all.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Appreciate you listening, and do call again anytime, 833-288-3986. Please join us. We have an open phone line here talking about trying to really lift our consciousness of men's and women's religious orders in the Catholic Church. What is an order, you might think? Well, it's a group of men or a group of women. Sometimes there are men and women as parts of same, like Dominican sisters, Dominican brothers and fathers. So if you have a religious order that is special in your heart, please join us at 833-288-3986. And we could go to social media. We got quite a few.
I was just making notes for the prayer book. Sure. Yeah, like Jennifer said, I was told I seem to favor the Carmelites. You got to love the Carmelites. You just have to. Mm-hmm. They're amazing. You want to share some more?
Zan is the name here. Z-A-N says, Dominicans taught me in school. They seem to resonate with me. Beautiful. Marianne, I don't really know all the religious orders. I'll just insert there. Neither do we, Marianne, because there are so many that have been raised up throughout the history of the church. But Marianne adds, I know the ones I see on EWTN. I do love the Dominican sisters. I also love the Franciscan sisters of the renewal. Yes. Yeah, and of course, we got to, include in all of this, Debbie, the missionaries of the eternal word at EWTN, favorites of a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that you have to understand that is that is expected, right? Because we love them so very, very much, and the poor Clares again are getting mentioned, and that is wonderful. Several times, the poor Clares and SALT, Society of Our Lady of the Holy Trinity. Good job. You guys are doing great. You know your religious orders. That's awesome.
Well,
This
Gail,
is like a little catechism class.
It is. It is. Gail's watching the video stream on Facebook, and she says, you mentioned, I love the poor Clare, since Mother Angelica was one. They have orders all over the world, and I think Mother is the reason for their growth. And then there's a question for you. Debbie, you mentioned them already. Debbie, isn't one of the poor Clares near you, the desert nuns?
That is
you
true.
Alluded to them.
It's in Tonopah, Arizona. The poor Clares are there. A monastery is there. Beautiful monastery. Great group of poor Clares. And like I said, they do the nun run. They have a challenge run to raise money for the monastery. And yes, we do have the poor Clares, and we're very proud to have them. We're keeping them.
Well, we're going to get to see them, too, at this year's EWTN Catholic Radio Conference. And that's coming up just about a month from now. Vicki in Irving, Texas, we're going to start with you in just a moment here, and we've got others on the line talking about religious orders of men and women today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you.
The world over.
The Bear Wozniak Adventure.
Women Made New.
Open Line Friday.
No one does Catholic radio like EWTN.
The most original Catholic content is on EWTN Radio. Tonight on EWTN Live. Visit the shrine dedicated to Mother Cabrini as Rector Father Ramil Fajardo walks us through Chicago's beautiful National Shrine of St. Francis Xavier Cabrini.
EWTN Live with me, Father Mitch Packwood, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on EWTN TV and radio.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie is on YouTube. Search YouTube to find the EWTN YouTube channel so you'll never miss an episode of our show or any of your favorite EWTN radio shows.
Wherever you are in the world, you can access the EWTN Global Catholic Network. It's everywhere. You can get EWTN's great Catholic programming on your car radio, at home on your TV, computer, or smart speaker. With EWTN's app, you can take EWTN everywhere on your phone or mobile device. If you want your news in print, turn to EWTN's paper of record, the National Catholic Register. EWTN, the Global Catholic Network.
EWTN podcasts are available on Spotify. Weekday shows from the Sunrise Morning Show through Cresta in the afternoon, plus the latest weekend programming. You can find it all at Spotify.com.
Matt Swaim here. Tomorrow on the Sunrise Morning Show, we'll celebrate the feast of King St. Louis IX and get you all the latest news, weather, sports, and a whole lot more. Now back to Women of Grace.
Go right ahead.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to go.
I thought you were going to go. We're just waiting for each other to reintroduce the topic and to go back to the calls. So we have one open phone line. You still have plenty of time to get in if you want to share your religious order that you really resonate with, that you really are drawn to. Okay, we both shared, Jerry and I, and then we have our calls coming in. We have YouTube, Facebook. We have messages coming in. That's why we love the Take Two family. You always weigh in a very strong way. Why? Because we do want to learn and grow together. So here's the number, 833-288-3986. What's your favorite religious order and why? There goes the last phone line. I love the Take Two family, Jerry.
Yeah. Well, a member of that family is Vicki in Irving, Texas, as we promised before the pause right there, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Vicki, thanks for your patience. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Vicki?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Not real well.
Can you hear me?
Now that's better. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So one of my closest religious orders was my first spiritual director was Father Larry Tosky from the Oblates of St. Joseph. And my parents had just passed away. We're going through a lot of turmoil with my siblings. I'm the oldest of 8. I was newlywed, pregnant with my first baby. And he just fathered me through a lot of pain. So I'm very, very close to the Oblates.
Well, you can see why. You're emotionally attached because they helped you through a very hard time. Yeah. And that's the beauty, Vicki. That is the beauty of what we're sharing today. Because when we can really get close to our spiritual leaders, right, that are going to help us through very difficult times of suffering and loss and all sorts of things that happens in this crazy thing called life, right? We get close to these wonderful leaders. It is a beautiful thing, and it helps us to have a greater image of God the Father. What do you think about that, Vicki?
It's true. It's beautiful how, whether religious or lay people can father and mother each other, and especially being a religious person, it truly feels like God is right there through them.
Yes, exactly. And Vicki, and that's why it's so painful for people when they are hurt by the church, or they're hurt by religious orders, or someone steps out and does something that is really wrong and violates someone else. That's why people are so wounded for a lifetime. And this is why I think we need to continue to pray for all our religious leaders, that they do really well and are very solid in their own faith life, so that they can be there for us. And because that's amazing, your story, and you've been through a lot. And I'll tell you what, that's why this is the good part, the very good part of our beautiful Catholic faith. Jerry?
Well, I agree so much with what you said, and just kind of tag on to that. Obviously we know that the number of clergy and religious that go astray in certain very unfortunate areas is really, really a tiny, small amount. Any one is too many, but I'm just glad that we're shining this light today, that we are on so many of the religious men's and women's orders, because by and large, it's all not only very good, but very holy, the things that they do for us. So Vicki, thank you. Appreciate the call there from Texas. We have another Debbie on the line. Look at that.
It's the day for Debbie's. You know why? Because it's the last day of August. Can you believe it, Jerry?
I know. I was thinking about that last night. Where is this year gone?
Time is flying by. Debbie, another Debbie. I love it. Debbie from Toronto, Sirius XM 130. Hello, Debbie. Tell us a favorite order of yours.
Hi, God bless you. And I'm Debbie Ann, too, so get that.
I love it. Yes.
My favorite order, the ladies that put a light into my heart are the Sisters of Life, and even thinking about them and seeing them in their white and with their navy blue habits, and just makes me tear up. And they are all of the orders are so beautiful. I love seeing them in their habits, but they helped me. I've called them before. I'm silent no more. So I was speaking. They had nurtured me and so on. They've been in Canada now for approximately 15 years, I believe, 15, 16 years, and so they really nurtured me and supported me, and through them and other supports, I was able to get into high schools to speak. And one of the high schools I'd spoken at, there was a young guy came to me and told me that he was on his way to pick up a friend who had booked an abortion that day. So he was the designated driver, and he had heard the Silent No More testimony, and so called her as she was on the bus going to the Morgenthaler Clinic to abort her child, and he said, "Don't do it." And so she was 5 minutes away from the abortion, and I spoke to her, and And I was able to tell her that the abortion clinic would be there tomorrow if she chose to go back, but her baby wouldn't be there tomorrow. And I asked her to give me 1 hour, just 1 hour to speak to her, and I call it the hour of grace. Mm-hmm. She gave me that hour, and she decided to keep her baby. And so now I needed the support, and I introduced her to the sisters, and they just took her under their mantles and nurtured her and cared for her and gave her all of the emotional and spiritual and support, that a mother who's afraid to be a mother needs. Mm-hmm. And so I pray for them every day. I just met Sister Maria Cattery. She was in Toronto for a funeral, and I was able to speak to her. And she passed me on this little jewel of wisdom, and she said that she had heard about the surrender prayer, and she said, "Have you heard about it yet?" And I said, "No, I hadn't." And it's very simple, and it's just, "Oh, Jesus, I surrender myself to you this day. Take care of everything." And so they are very special, especially in light of what's going on with the attacks on life this day. So God bless them. We're praying for them, and they just light up our lives.
Well, Debbie, as you were speaking, I was just drawn into the story, and I was getting very moved. And then I remembered what you said at the beginning of the call, where you said they're beautiful habits of blue and white. And then I said, wait a minute, I think we have them here in Phoenix. And I quickly Googled, and yes, we have Sisters of Life here in Phoenix. Came last year, and they're at our Arizona State University at the Newman Center, and that's where I first encountered them because my husband and I sometimes go to the Newman Center parish there at on the campus, right outside the campus of Arizona State University. So it is the same order, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, they have a beaming light that comes from them when you meet them. It's unbelievable. So Debbie, it's the same order. Did you know that?
I knew that. I didn't know where in the States they were. I know that their mother house is in New York, under Sister Agnes, and there was an article recently about them. They were tobogganing. Anyway, but I know they're. I didn't know that they were in. Did you say Phoenix?
Phoenix.
Yeah, I didn't know specifically there, but yes, and everywhere they go, they bring life. They
yes.
exude the light of Christ.
Absolutely, Debbie. I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, when I first saw them, I saw them from a distance. I was on the other side of the church, and I said to my husband, I wonder what order they are. And he said, yeah, he goes, it's interesting. You could feel they radiated an amazing Christ light. You're absolutely correct, Debbie. Wow. This is a beautiful call. Jerry, are you familiar with the Sisters of Life?
Well, I am, yeah. I think it was, I don't remember what year it was, Cardinal John O'Connor of New York led the founding of that particular religious order. And I absolutely love what they do, Debbie. I'm so glad you highlighted them today because, the world wants to hide resources like this. And I say resources, I mean the ministry of these men, these women and these men who do, they feed the hungry, they preach the gospel, they go to do prison ministry, hospital ministry. The civilization that so many people are trying to tear down and destroy today was built up in large part due to men and women religious of the Catholic Church. We need to think about that and not forget about that. But like I say, the world is trying to make us forget about that, but we won't.
Right. Absolutely. Amen, brother. What do you think, Debbie Ann?
Yep, 100%. I love them. And I don't know how they do what they do, but, well, obviously it's the Holy Spirit and, and their whole day is not just out on the streets, working with women. Their prayer life comes first, and they acknowledge they can't do anything without prayer, and that's where their strength comes from. I couldn't live with that many women in my house for a day. Never mind, never mind a lifetime. But God bless them.
Oh, Debbie, you're precious. Thank you so much for gracing this conversation today and reminding us of the great Sisters of Life. We appreciate it. Take care, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie, for the call. We got an email from Carol at take2@ewtn.com in Indian River, Michigan, at the Cross in Woods Church. That's the largest crucifix. She says they have a religious order museum. They have all the religious orders, particularly nuns, all in their particular outfits. It's amazing. She says some are life-size, most are doll-size. They have indoor and outdoor mass. They have priests, too, in the clothes on life-size mannequins. She says, love your show, great topic. I had Franciscan nuns in grade school, great education. And she says, also love seeing the nuns in the hospitals. That's an email from Carol that just came in. Thanks, Carol.
Okay, yeah. Where is that? Where is that museum? I want to go.
Indian River, Michigan, yeah.
Okay, we need to do a pilgrimage. Seriously, wouldn't that be a blast?
Wow, she sent a picture, just a follow-up email. Carol, thank you. I'm looking at that. And they are little doll size, and they're all dressed up like the orders, and they got a little little engraved plaque down below each one of them telling us which order it is.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. I love the Take Two family. You guys are always keeping us up to date and up to speed on what's going on. We love you guys. Have we told you that lately? We're going to keep telling you that today. Colleen in Massachusetts, you're up next. Station of the Cross is the way you're listening. Hello, Colleen. Tell us which order you love.
Hi, the Franciscans of the Renewal.
Amen.
I think they're the Franciscans of the Primitive Order, or the Renewal. Maybe the official name is the Renewal. But I want to encourage everybody, especially if you're living in a city, in a big city, look for them. They're in their long gray robes, and find out where they're staying and drop off some food. People aren't aware that they only eat. They cannot eat unless people drop off some food for them, some milk, whatever.
Right, yeah. We're very familiar with them, obviously, Colleen, Father Benedict Rochelle, Father Andrew Apostoli, and so many others. Those are probably the two of the better-known ones. God rest their souls. But, yeah, you're right. Many religious orders, this is something people don't know, Debbie, is they don't eat unless, people drop off food, like Colleen was saying. And I mentioned the Poor Clares in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They keep a 3-day supply of food on hand. And if anybody donates in excess of that, they give it away. And they're always giving away food anyway. But, yeah, so the very austere lives that many men and women religious live.
That's amazing. Yeah, thank you, Colleen. Thank you for reminding us, because we talked about that. We want to pray for these religious orders. We also want to volunteer and do what we can do, right? We're all in this together. Beautiful. Jerry, I know we want to go back to the phones. We have full phone lines. We got social media coming in, messages coming in as well about the orders that everybody loves. And I know we have some highlights we want to share with our listeners.
Yeah, Mother Angelica answering the call Sunday at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Time on EWTN Radio. Of course, you get the timeless words of wisdom and wit from EWTN foundress Mother Angelica. Features the best advice she gave to listeners. It's hosted by Father Joseph Mary Wolf and Doug Keck. And this week, Mother Angelica talks about why she became a nun, how to enroll your family in the scapular. Love does not go beyond obedience, and it would be worth it for just one soul. That's Mother Angelica answering the call Sundays at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio.
Perfect. And we also are going to be, are we celebrating some anniversaries? Can we celebrate?
Sure.
It's the last day of the month. We got to celebrate anniversaries. Do you want to go ahead and I want to make some notes? We got a lot of anniversaries. Look at these Catholic radio stations go. I love it.
Yeah, well, family members of EWTN, including Huntsville Catholic Radio in Huntsville, Texas, celebrating 19 years on the air. Wow. Congratulations to Raymond Scheel and his team at KPIA 102.5 FM, bringing listeners in Huntsville solid EWTN Catholic Radio for 19 years. And also we want to thank Good Shepherd Radio in Jackson, Michigan, celebrating 8 years on the air. Congratulations to Doug Schomard and Bob Look, bringing listeners in Jackson 8 years of solid EWTN Catholic Radio.
Look at that, 19 years, 8 years. This is amazing. Think how many souls have been impacted. Wow, you guys, keep going. We need Catholic radio now more than ever. Kim is driving into West Virginia. Oh, very specific, Matt is. She's driving into West Virginia and listening to Sirius XM 130. Hello, Kim. Tell us the religious order that you really love.
Hello. What's dear to my heart is the Daughters of Charity of St. Vincent de Paul. Elizabeth Ann Seton, the first American saint, was the foundress of the order in the United States, and I just enjoy their positive demeanor and work throughout the world. And my daughter has also discerned joining the order. She's still discerning.
Real quickly, Kim, what is their specific charism? Their mission? Is it teaching, or is it being out in the community?
It was teaching initially.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then the Catholic schools were started by Sister Elizabeth Ann Seton in Emmitsburg, Maryland. But then throughout the years, they also have other different work that they do. Social work, nursing, but I think predominantly it's teaching.
Okay, interesting. And where's their headquarters? Do you know where their headquarters is? Their mother house?
In the United States, it's Emmitsburg, Maryland, and then I think it's Paris, France, for the world. Home.
Right, international. Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating. I didn't know that, Jerry. Did you know they were out of Maryland?
Oh, I did, yeah. And actually, Kim, it says on our call screen here that your daughter is discerning about joining them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's someone, Debbie, for us to pray for,
I
a
put her
potential
in the
religious
book.
vocation. Yeah. All right, Kim, beautiful phone call. Thank you very, very much. Talking today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie about your favorite or most beloved, if you will, religious order of men or women. We've heard from a lot of people so far. We're going to continue along. Another call from Cleveland. Listening on the Rock, it's Darlene. Hello, Darlene. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi there.
I'm calling to tell you about a new monastery you might not know about. And the only reason I know about it is because my daughter is in this monastery. And it's a Byzantine Catholic monastery, and it's called Christ the Bridegroom Monastery. And their main charism is hospitality. And they have some Pustinia houses, which means retreat. So they have little retreat houses on their property. And so you can, since their charism is hospitality, you can come and pray with them in their chapel or make a reservation for a silent retreat or have dinner with them or stuff like that. So they're only about 12 years old, and my daughter was one of the ones of the two nuns that helped start it.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. So wait, say that again. Your daughter is one of the two nuns that helped get it started, this monastery?
Right, about 12 years ago. There's 7 women there now. So she was Sister Julie, and now she's Mother Cecilia. They, when they make their life profession, they take the name Mother, and they do counsel some people, but I think they're booked up right now with as many as they can take.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so Darlene, I've heard of this monastery, Christ the Bridegroom, because you probably know this. I've hosted the Rock's spring and fall pledge drives for over, I think, 6 years now, and so I've often when I used to come back to Cleveland, before the pandemic, people would always say to me, "Have you visited the monastery?" So this is the monastery you're talking about, correct?
Yes, good. I'm glad you know about it. I mean, it's so new. I didn't know if people, most people knew about it, and I'd like to get them on the prayer list. They need support. Sure. They're having a fundraiser coming up in a couple weeks, and I can give you their website if you want to find out more or make a retreat there. Their website is christthebridegroom.org, and you can find out how to support them, and I think it's good to support these new orders. They're all young. They wear a traditional habit, and they're just wonderful, warm, and they'll always give you hugs when you come to visit. It's just beautiful. And I've had the opportunity to serve them by helping to sew their habits or helping do their flowers for their life professions or their events. So, and my husband gets involved with carpentry projects. He's not a carpenter, but sometimes they need help. Another way you can help out is they have a work day in the spring and fall. You can go out there and work. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. But you can find out more on their website.
Yeah, and Darlene, you mentioned a couple things that I think are important. One is so many people give of their time, talent, and treasure to help our religious men and women. If they need a larger building to house more vocations, which in any situation is a blessed problem to have, or just to kind of the upkeep of their houses and monasteries and convents. So that is fantastic. In fact, there's a group near me, the Sisters of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and they're having a work weekend, I think this weekend. So I'll probably find myself out there. Thank you, Darlene, for your call. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Darlene. And I'm going to be back in Cleveland in February, God willing. So I'm going to definitely try to squeeze in a visit to the monastery if they're open.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll
Good
have
deal.
me.
Okay. There you are.
Oh, I'm back? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if
thought
it
you
was-
were gone. You thought I was gone.
Yeah.
It's the end of the month. It's one of those days, folks. But you can hear me now, Jerry, and that's great.
Yep.
Did you hear that I was making a little joke that if I go to a monastery, I'm probably not going to leave?
Yeah. Well, it's very tempting, isn't it?
Isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever think of that? Do you ever think like, I'm just going to go off to a monastery, right? Have you ever thought that? Let's hear what Karen has to say. Karen's in Buffalo, New York on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Karen. Tell us about your favorite order.
Yes, so I wanted to make people aware of an order. I actually had a personal connection. So in 2008, this order is the Servant Sisters of the Home of the Mother, and they're located in Spain. It's a young order of many young women. And in 2008, they were coming to Buffalo for a pilgrimage, and they needed a place to stay. And they have a community in Jacksonville, Florida, where my son lives. And his mother-in-law called and said, could I find them a place to stay? Well, they ended up staying at my house. 3 of the sisters and a dozen or so teenage girls that were coming on a pilgrimage. And so the sister Clare Crockett was telling my husband about her amazing conversion experience. He was being Mary, and I was the Martha trying to fix all the food. Anyway, so in 2016, the sister Clare Crockett was stationed in Ecuador, and there was an earthquake, and she died at the age of 33. And they have made a documentary of her life called All or Nothing, and I personally believe she will be a saint. So many people are being converted through her documentary, and you can pull it up online and watch it, and I would just encourage people to do that. She had an amazing, she wanted to be a famous movie star, and then she said, well, I'll be a famous nun then, and her wish was granted because...
Praise God, Karen. Forgive me for jumping in. We're going to hear the closing music of the show, but I'm glad you brought this to our attention. The website for that order is homeofthemother.org, homeofthemother.org. Thank you so much for the call, Karen, and the others. I'm not going to get to you. I apologize, but I just really want to end with an exhortation to all of us. We need to pray for vocations, okay? Young people are answering the call, many more than we realize, Debbie, so we need to all, pray at the Lord of the harvest to send laborers into the harvest.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And tomorrow is our Whom or What Are You Praying For? A show tomorrow. It's the 1st of the month, the 1st of September. Please join us. Let's storm heaven together, praying for great, solid vocations. We need that. And our own personal intentions as well, Jerry. Very important to God. Everything's important to God.
Our thanks to the show team, Ace McKay, our producer, Jeff Burson, social media, Matt Gubensky on the phones. Thank you, affiliates, for carrying Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and especially thank you, Take Two family, for another great hour of radio with you. We'll be back tomorrow, as Debbie said. In the meantime, have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, please pray for us.
The most original and exclusive